number one, the Apostle Paul talks about, I can't remember exactly what the verse is. I know it's in the book of Corinthians, but the Apostle Paul talks about how it is not wise to compare yourselves with other people. He talks about comparing ourselves amongst ourselves, and he that does this is not wise. And so, it is a fatal trap to compare where you are in your journey with other people, because we all have different backgrounds. We all got, different cards that were dealt to us, different, some received a better early inheritance than others did. Some received better opportunities. You know, whatever it is that it may be. But at the end of the day, we really can't make comparisons because we're all different people. We all have different journeys. We all come from different backgrounds. But the beauty of it is that I realized, and I was, I was sharing this with somebody, potential client that was interested in working with me about a month ago, because he felt that life was so hard, and that, so many of his peers are progressing and whatnot. And something that the Lord laid on my heart that I shared with him is, I said, it is true that you cannot control the cards that were dealt to you. You don't get a chance to control what family you were born into, what neighborhood you grow up in, whether your family is well structured, a loving family, an encouraging family. You can't control none of that stuff. What intellectual endowments that you will be born with, what gifts you'll be born with. You can't control none of those things, right? So you can't control the cards that you are dealt. But this is what I said to the guy. You do have the opportunity to reshuffle the deck. While you cannot control cards that you were dealt, you can control the reshuffling of the deck. And what I mean by that is this. I get a chance to choose how I will allow the cards that I have been dealt to affect me. You see, you and I have a choice whether the stuff that happened to us in our childhood, whether, some of the opportunities maybe that we didn't take advantage of when we were younger, we choose how we're going to allow those things to affect us. We get to choose. And so we can reshuffle the deck and say, you know what? I'm not going to allow the trajectory that my family has been going, my family history, the pattern that my family has followed, the pattern that maybe even I started following before you woke up to realize that there must be something better. You can come to a place to say, I'm not going to allow that to control me. And so, I just realized that, sometimes, it's amazing how when the Lord gives you a word to speak to somebody else, you're speaking to yourself, right? And so that's one thing I've encouraged myself with in the Lord, that I may not be able to control some of the stuff that happened to me as a child, but I get to control how I respond to that. I get to control where I go from this point forward. I can't control what has happened, where I've come from, but I do get a chance to, in some ways, help to shape the direction that I'm going to go from this point forward. And so that's one thing I've, in the past, encouraged myself in the Lord with.